I am DM Zone. This is Gamers Oasis. Let's get into it. Okay, guys. So in this video, I'm going to give you the freedom to go ahead and add the Z axis to your game, or wish you never had. Okay. So this spell can break almost any game that it's put into. It's not limited to tabletop RPGs, how it breaks it. As a matter of fact, most video games never really incorporate spells that break the Z axis, as this change in dynamic really does alter how the game works. Of course, I'm talking about the fly spell. With this spell, the caster can fly 120 feet per turn, or 12 inches on the sand table. Now, that's terribly slow. That's like 1/10 the speed of a person on foot. So either this is like the slowest moving flight spell, or we understand something different or wrong. I mean, you could use a levitate spell and use a push stick like you're inside the Vienna, with the canoe type of thing, pushing across the ground to get further movement, and then kind of coast and glide. I think that might get you there faster than actually using the fly spell. So that made me wonder and question. And here recently, I just posted a video on Dispel Magic, and a person in the comments that maybe I'm misunderstanding the term turn, which is a very hard thing to say, by the way. Trun. I'm understanding the use of that word incorrectly. For example, a lot of this stuff comes from chainmail. And in chainmail, a turn is a round of combat, not 10 minutes. So maybe these two things are being conflated and the wrong use of the word turn is being applied, which would be truly unfortunate if that's the case, because later in the same spell, it says it lasts for a d6 turns plus your character level. So either this is like the slowest moving spell ever with a normal duration of what you expect for a third level spell, or this spell gets over really quickly and basically lets you Superman fly for like, a d6 plus your level in rounds. I feel like they mean actually one is for the movement, is for like chainmail turn, and then the other one is actually 10 minutes. That's kind of how I interpret it. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I think it's also worth noting that it doesn't talk about how much the caster can carry. So if, let's say, the caster is carrying a ladder and puts it over his or her body, and then people are hanging off the ladder, can they lift everyone? Again, my thoughts are probably no. I bet the max carry weight for that character, which in original Dungeons & Dragons is fixed and not really based on strength as much as it is in other editions. When you get into Supplement 1, there's some changes, but not really a whole lot for a caster at least. But I feel like that would be probably your limit. Okay, so now that I've said how this thing can be kind of broken, let's go over what that could mean and how maybe the referee would not want to do this. For example, let's say that the caster wants to mess around and find out. They want to go scout and fly up above the trees and see what's going on. One could say that is now a different area. So you're not in the forest, you're not in the ground, you're not in the plains, you're now in the air. Aerial wandering monsters tend to have things like dragons and this type of stuff, which could be a real problem. So if your caster is by themselves and they're facing off on something that might be flying, like a rock or a dragon or something like that, that could be very, very bad. One last little thing here. I feel like this is another one of those great spells that should be kept on a scroll. Give it to your thief. Allow him to break the Z-axis or the game. Let him do thief things. Be fun. Also, it's not necessarily a spell you need to keep every day. Save your fireballs for all that, but keep a scroll of flight just in case you need to get the heck out of there. Anyways, guys, did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Let me know in the comments down below what you think. See you guys in the next video and keep rolling those dice.